Hello, eRank. Hopefully. Did that work? Are we
It
working?
worked. It
Oh,
scared me, but it worked.
scared me too. I had no idea what buttons to press for about 2 minutes there. Hello, everybody. Let us know if the stream is okay. We're still testing new software and we don't know what we're doing. And
Yeah.
poor Starla is exhausted after being live every day this week. So yeah, this is going to be a good one, guys.
And let us know, guys, is there an echo to my voice? La 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 la.
Echo.
Echo, echo. Ah. All right. Thanks to everybody who came over from the critique week over on my channel. That's over now. So if you missed it, unfortunately, we're done with those. But thanks to everybody who came over here after critique week. Hopefully my brain isn't too scrambled. Um, yeah, working. Yeah, not this time. No echo, no
No
Darth
Darth Star.
Starling. Perfect. Perfect. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out. Feel free to get any and all questions into the chat. We are only streaming right now on YouTube. We're probably not going to do the Facebook streams anymore unless we can figure out how to schedule dual streams. But since most of you guys watch from YouTube anyway, we figure, this is a lot easier. We can see your chat. We can talk to you. All right. Yes,
Yeah.
Starla, you have an echo. Oh,
Oh,
well,
we've
is
got
it,
no
is it
echo and one echo.
little echo? Is it so bad that it's like distracting, or is it just a light echo? Let me know. Um, okay, well, we'll go ahead and jump right in. Like I said, feel free to get some questions into the chat. But we did have an early bird question over in the Facebook group to get us started from Jessica Serrano. She wanted to know, what is your favorite tool for scheduling social media posts in advance? Are there different ones for desktop versus mobile that you'd recommend? Pam, do you do any like social media scheduling?
Um. Oh, this is so embarrassing to admit with the queen of social media sitting next to me. I do chunks of going, I'm going to do this all right. And I sit down and I schedule a load of stuff up. And then I get bored and I don't do it like I meant to, to be absolutely honest. Um, I did use like Tailwind and tools like that, but I have to be 100% honest. I prefer scheduling things from within whatever social media I'm posting them on. So if I'm going to do a ton of things on Pinterest, I schedule them on the scheduler on Pinterest. I do prefer that. The tools are great, but as things change on a social media platform, they don't always necessarily keep up. So that's my feeling, but I think Starla's the one to ask about social media.
Yeah. So I use the Later app. I do believe that you can use it for mobile. I don't recommend scheduling posts on a phone, though. I recommend, anything work related, you should be sitting in front of your computer. There's always going to be limitations when it comes to mobile. I like the Later app, though, because it connects to platforms that are important to me, might not be as important to you, though. It connects to LinkedIn, it connects to Pinterest, it connects to Twitter. It connects to TikTok, and these are platforms that I would otherwise not spend a lot of time on. So through Later, I am able to schedule out content to those platforms as well. But again, for creative businesses, it's not very likely, aside from TikTok, it's not very likely that LinkedIn and Twitter are going to bring you a lot of traffic unless you already have a presence there. So for the most part, the Meta Business Suite, if you're just scheduling through Facebook and Instagram, that's going to be a great option because for one, it's free. And for two, they have said that Meta has said in the past that they prefer to show content or give visibility to content that is scheduled internally through their scheduler, and that they might actually limit content scheduled through external schedulers like the Later app. So it actually might be more beneficial to save yourself the money and just stick with what's free and what works. I really like that the Meta Business Suite gives you the ability to change the caption for Instagram and Facebook right from one spot. So, for example, you can't put links in your Instagram posts. So we'll say, if I am scheduling a piece of content with a link, I can make sure that the link gets posted to Facebook, but I can make sure that the caption on Instagram says, click the link in my bio to visit XYZ, whatever my call to action is. But ultimately, all scheduling apps, they work the same. You just have to find one that is going to schedule out to the platforms that are most important to you. And like Pam said, Pinterest has an internal scheduler now. If you already pay for Canva Pro also has a scheduler. I've never personally used it, but I've only heard good things about it. So that's an option as well, especially if you already create your content in Canva.
Yeah, I've meant to use the Canva one. I see it there when I'm making things and just think, oh, I wonder how good that is, but I've never done it yet. And I actually had heard from other places saying that platforms didn't like you using schedulers, but I hadn't heard anything definitive, so I was biting my tongue. So cool to know that you've actually heard it from the right places. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Get to Create said, if I get eRank, will that also do everything Everbee does? Could you compare eRank to Everbee to Sales Samurai? Well, here's the thing. We work for eRank, so we don't use the other tools. So we really can't. We can't speak on behalf of other tools. All we can really say is that eRank is the biggest for a reason. We are also in the Etsy integrations, which we're pretty proud of. If you go into, your Etsy integration section on the left side of your seller dashboard, you'll find us right in there, which a lot of other tools and smaller competitors don't have. You can also compare our overall traffic and see that eRank has more active traffic, which means that we have a nice big user base, which means that we have a little bit more flexibility to buy more data than a lot of smaller competitors. I think that the only thing that Everbee in particular stands out in is they have a browser extension. Um, However, we are currently developing a browser extension because you guys have been asking for one for so long, probably since the start of eRank, we've been getting requests for a browser extension. So I currently have access to a little test version. Pam, I think you have access to a little test version, and it's coming together. It's not quite done yet, but that should be rolling out, I would assume, by the end of the year. It's pretty functional right now. There's a couple things I told Anthony that I think we should add to it, though, before it goes out.
Yeah, it's something the team have been working on for quite some time because we knew it was something that people would like. So, yay. hopefully, hopefully soon. But yeah, like Starla, I can't compare the other tools because I don't use the other tools. And that's not just because I work for eRank; it's because I'm a lazy person. I think this is the theme of my thing here. But I found eRank because I was searching for a specific thing. I wanted to find out where my listings were ranking when I was working on my SEO. eRank came up. I started using it. I don't have time to sit and try other platforms if the tool that I'm using is working. I don't go off and try other tools because it really just takes me too long. So that's something that you guys are going to have to check out yourself. But also, as Starla says, because we have the biggest, I believe we have the biggest like user base,
We do.
we also have you guys giving us feedback all the time, which gives our team great things to be able to work on, like the app. Every time something new comes out, it's pretty much from you guys saying, hey, I wish it would do this. And Anthony is far too good at going, oh yeah, let's see if we can do this. I think the team who actually do the clever stuff must be constantly sighing. It's like, oh, we've got something else to build. So, but yeah, that's why eRank is has so many tools because we get so many ideas from Anthony's crazy brain and also from all of you.
Yeah. And I did want to point out, before the stream started, we had a comment. It actually came in several hours before we started, and the individual, Terrible Kane, I assume that's your business name. They said that they wouldn't be here for this, but hopefully they're watching the replay. They wanted to know where our data is sourced, and they're pretty sure most of it's based on Google traffic. That's actually not true. Our data is Etsy data. It just doesn't come direct from Etsy. It is a data set that consists of millions of panelists, just like Pam likes to compare, Nelson boxes and TV ratings. It's the exact same system that, that we have used for data collection forever, since the start of TV, when TV ratings would come in. You guys remember Nelson families? Do those still exist? Is that still a thing? Nelson families?
Uh, I
Yes.
yeah. Oh, cool.
He would be the one to know. But basically, we work with a third party data source that ethically sources the data, which means that, they're people who the data is coming from are okay with the data being collected. And we provide that data to you. But as always, with any company that deals in data, every once in a while we will have small gaps in that data. For example, if you see like a search trend graph in eRank and there are monthly searches, every month, but maybe like July, it says that there's 0 searches, that usually just means that there was a small gap in our data there. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it.
Yeah, that's all the keyword search data and things. Etsy doesn't give that out to anyone. It does, however, we do get a lot of data from Etsy as well. Firstly, when you agree to connect up your shop, there's nothing dodgy with that. That just gives us permission to be able to show, to be able to get the data from your shop to be able to show it to you. So a lot of that data, it comes from the Etsy API. The same with things like competition data, um, competitor data, all that good stuff comes directly from the API, which is data that Etsy makes publicly available to developers who understand how to use it, which is not myself and Starla.
Yeah.
It's the team are able to dig in and do all of that. So yeah, there's um the only data that comes from Google is the Google searches data that we have. Everything else is comes from what Starla said, the panels are from the Etsy API.
Yeah, and Brian had said, having tested them all a few times to always find the best and most updated tool, eRank is the one that I always end up sticking with because uh, it is just best over or better overall. Sorry, there's like weird emoji over your comment. And I agree. We update our data every month. There's like a rumor going around. I keep getting emails about it that our data is 4 months out of date, and
For
I don't.
that's so specific and wrong.
Yeah, there has to be an influencer out there somewhere who is saying that, or 80 days. I hear 4 months and I hear 80 days a lot, and I keep answering questions about it. But that's not true. You guys can disprove that because it's at around the first of every month. You can go into eRank and see the previous month. So yeah, very weird.
Yeah.
I don't know who's saying it, but just be cautious
Yeah,
about who
we
you.
even show the hottest keywords for the past week,
Yeah,
and we have right up to the minute. So yes, it's definitely not 4 months is very specific and
I know.
completely wrong.
Yeah, very weird. So somebody said the keyword search function is so confusing to me. How do we use it best? Ooh, Pam, how do you use I'm assuming you mean the keyword tool.
Yeah. Well, on this channel there is a ton of videos that we've been working on to help, but the basic thing for the keyword tool, in fact, I think, can we do this? I think we can. So if I can find where I've put everything. Um, so, so keyword research. There we go. Um, so I generally start with a kind of really broad keyword, like if you're making rings, search for ring. Don't search for something absolutely specific yet because you won't get much data. So then you look at this, and yeah, I'm not going to rank in search for the word ring. We see there's 2 million other listings, but it gives me an idea that 50,000 people on average a month are searching. So that gives me an idea that rings sell okay on Etsy. And then, really, what I go down is we look at the keyword ideas. You can filter, you can show popular tags that of the top 100 listings ranking for the word ring, what other tags are they using? So that's kind of handy to know. Related searches or what other things are real customers searching for, or I like to hit both so I can see a mix of both. And then you just look down at this. You can filter by any of these metrics, but I'll filter by average searches usually, because what I like to do here, you can then look at anything that stands out, like I don't Elden Ring would be copyright, probably
Yes.
trademarked, yes, but which is why it's got very low competition. But you look and you go, hang on, this is something that's got high competition, high searches, but not many people in competition. So why is it? Probably because they've been taken down because it's copyright. But you get an idea. You're looking for things that stand out. So like, if you make rings, can you make a fidget ring? Because there's a
Yeah.
decent demand and there's nobody searching for it. So that would be just a real sort of quick and dirty way how I do it to get ideas for something new that I can potentially make.
And the search trend graph is also really useful because you can look at last year, for example, if you're searching for Christmas shirt, you can see where people started actually searching for Christmas shirts last year. So you know when to list your products. For example, if you notice that everybody started searching for Christmas shirts in July and it only ramped up after that, you know that you need to get your Christmas shirts listed by July. So,
Yeah, I love that little trend graph. Just look in there, you can see gift for mum. In November, that blows up. That's amazing. But you can see the searches for the rest of the year. Or nose ring, I just spotted it was high last March, but it looks like it's dropping off. So you can see, is something climbing? Is it dropping?
yeah,
Um,
because trends don't stick around. Some of them disappear. If you look at face masks, I mean, that's a great example of something that was really popular and now it's not so
yeah. Oh,
popular.
I've not looked at face masks for ages.
No, me neither. I haven't even been curious because I have an idea of what it would look like.
I think you're exactly right. That trend is gone. It's,
Yeah.
well, I was going to say it's still pretty high. You're talking 6,000 searches, but look at that competition. So
Yeah.
it's not really worth the effort. And I think most people don't really need a new face mask.
Most people already have quite a few of them laying around.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Tina had asked, the competition sales page keeps getting wider with added columns. I have a problem seeing what is off screen because I don't have a scroll bar slash slider at the bottom of the page. Is it just my computer? It sounds like you might have your screen zoomed in. Can you take a screenshot of that and send it to support at erank.com? That way we, can take a look because I know that mine doesn't look like that.
Yeah, the team really do work hard on trying to get everything to display right for everybody. But you've noticed we're adding extra data. So on different devices, that might behave differently. And if you let us know, and the team will try and make sure that it works for you.
Well, Amy had said, I agree with Tina. Mine is difficult to look at now because they added something in Sales Samurai. We're not Sales Samurai.
Yeah.
So are you
Yeah, that
talking about the right tool? All right, let's see. Sarah asked, how do I find top selling categories without knowing keywords? Like, I don't know what keywords to search if I don't know what categories are selling. So I assume you're looking for something to sell. Like you don't make something already. You're actually looking for a niche to jump into. I would actually start in our trend reports. that would be a good place to start getting an idea of what's the most popular, because that will tell you categorically, just depending on what you sell in the monthly trend report in particular. You can choose the category that you're interested in selling in. If you want to sell shirts, you can see what the top 100 most searched shirts were on Etsy.
Yeah, and also keep an eye out monthly. Our Jan in the blog does a roundup of the trends that she's seen for the month. She checks the trends pretty much every day. She's jumping into those keywords and making sure there's not any dodgy words in there. So yeah, she knows, she's got her finger right on the pulse, and every month she makes those trend reports so you can see what's going on. And she also covers 4 different countries now, so you can get an idea of if you were looking to sell in more than one place as well. But I love those reports; they're super helpful.
Yeah. Somebody had mentioned the echo. Yeah, I've got a slight echo today. Hopefully it's not too distracting. We'll figure it out hopefully by next week. Um oh, Amy had said please compare and contrast the keyword tool to the keyword explorer. Honestly, I think that everything that is in the keyword explorer is now in the keyword tool, right?
No, actually, there is a difference. The Keyword Explorer is looking at other marketplaces, unless we put that into the keyword tool and I missed it.
Yeah, feel
Um,
share your screen and maybe give them a quick, because I don't
yes.
use the keyword explorer anymore. I only use the keyword tool. I can't
Yeah,
remember
I
the last time I
mainly
used the keyword
do.
explorer.
But yeah, Tools Keyword Explorer. Um, let's look at Ring again. So yeah, Keyword Explorer. Like Starla. I don't use it a whole lot, but this is more for people who are selling not just on Etsy. So you can get this, and this has your related searches and all the data you're used to. But the little drop down here is talking about different marketplaces. And I have a few things from Anthony that we're allowed to talk about today. And one of them
Ooh.
is we have added an extra marketplace. This is, was it Teachers Pay Teachers, TPT? Um, which isn't any good for
Oh,
rings. So we've added a new marketplace, so you can, right, that was a very bad choice for a keyword. I'm sure. Um, let's see what Target is doing for rings. So you can pick different marketplaces and see what the search trends are and the different. This is actually, this is a really cool one about why when you're searching for these kind of broad keywords like ring, because on Target, ring doorbell or a ring camera rather than just rings. So that's why you look at that and you get more specific. But anyway, random aside. But yeah, the Keyword Explorer is now giving you loads of different marketplaces, whereas the keyword tool has is more focused on Etsy and has all the different. It has so much more data on Etsy things, average prices, shipping times. Even has the top listings, the photographs of them, all sorts of things.
short answer is you don't have to use the keyword explorer if you're like Pam and I and you don't care about other marketplaces.
Pretty much, yeah. I start the keyword explore. What I a little bit of a history lesson here, but the keyword tool was the first keyword tool we had on eRank back in the day when it was really, really tiny. Um, and that just had the data from other shops on Etsy. We didn't have any search data yet. Then, when Anthony managed to get all the search data, he brought out the Keyword Explorer. So we had the two tools. One of them was what buyers were using in their shop, and one of them was what sellers were using. And then Anthony realized we could combine them all together into the keyword tool, so the Keyword Explorer became a little bit pointless. And now he's added other marketplaces, so it's useful again to some people. But the keyword tool is the main thing if you're selling on Etsy.
Yeah. Um, Get to Create had said, I literally have information overload at least twice per week from all the stuff that I'm trying to learn. And the hardest part is figuring out what's good info and what's bad. So glad I found Starla. Make sure that you also subscribe to Pam's channel as well. If you need more, trusted sources to listen to, I know that there's a lot of clutter on YouTube. I know that there's a lot of people who they speculate and they make things up, but Pam and I have that benefit of, working for eRank. We are able to source the things that we say. And her channel's Pam Duffy. And obviously, you can hang out here on the eRank channel as well because Pam makes lots of videos for here. And I actually have two videos that I will be publishing on the eRank channel. I didn't even tell you that, Pam.
Oh, cool. No,
Um,
nice surprise.
yeah, so those will be popping up pretty soon. But you get the best of both worlds then by being on the eRank channel.
Yeah, absolutely. There is so much information out there,
Hmm.
and I totally understand. Um, what Starla was saying today in her live, if you missed it, but is basically look at the receipts, look at why people are saying what they're saying. Have they got the data to back it up? And most of the time, Etsy tells us they're not trying to hide this information because they actually want the decent stuff to be able to give to the buyers so the buyers buy decent stuff. So Etsy tells us how to do the things. So people like myself and Starla have the time to dig into all of this and make notes on it and try and understand it a bit more. So hopefully we're able to come back to you and explain, this is why we're saying this thing. This is based on actual real information. And there are other good people out there, but don't be afraid to ask them, why are you giving that advice? Give us the
Cite your
receipts, tell us.
sources. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That was, during today's no names, but during today's live stream, somebody had mentioned someone told them that broad matching doesn't exist. And Etsy is very transparent about how their search works. They're not going to lie. If you are listening to a YouTuber or, a blogger who is directly contradicting what Etsy tells us, that should be a red flag. That should be something that, every once in a while, Pam and I get ticked off at Etsy because they'll do something dumb, but we say when we're speculating, we point that out when we're guessing. If somebody can't cite their sources, I would just be nervous. I would be cautious about who you listen to. Because there are good people, but like Pam said, there's also some people who, they base it on like anecdotal evidence. Oh, this worked in my shop, so it'll work in everybody's shop, and that's just not really how Etsy works, unfortunately.
Yeah. And the other thing, like, I know it seems like there's so much information out there, but you don't have to do all the things at once. I'm sure we've all done it. We sit down and we try and dig into everything like, I'm going to make my shop work. I'm going to learn everything all at once. And it's more a case of learn a little bit, do a little bit of experimentation, but it's going to take a bit of time. So don't try and do it all at once. Just try and improve one little thing at a time. And if you've had information burnout or whatever, take a month off learning about Etsy and learn how to take better photographs, or go for a go for a walk in the woods, or something. It's this time of year for most of us, we're not going to get a massive increase in our shops. It's going to be a slow burner. So yeah, don't burn yourself out just now. Christmas is coming. Starla has lots of information to help you with that. But yeah, this is the slow burner. Don't burn yourself out.
Carol had asked, is it worth spending time keywording file titles in alt text? File titles, no. Etsy renames your photos. That's a website kind of optimization tactic. But if you go into your Etsy shop and you right click one of your photos and save it, it's going to save usually with the letters I, X, L, or a D. They rename those files. But alt text, Is it worth keyword optimizing them? Sure, but that's not what alt text is for. Alt text is to help those who are visually impaired. So if, by describing what is in your picture, you're keyword optimizing the description or the alt text, that's fine. But don't write your alt text like you're writing it for computers, because that would be really off-putting if somebody is like blind, for example, or colorblind, and they're going to your alt text to try to see for themselves or learn or discover what it is that is in your photos. It might put them off if it's just keyword stuffed.
Yeah, the other I just noticed the other day, and it kind of annoyed me a little bit. The new simpler listing editing thing that Etsy's given us, they haven't put in the ability to add alt text yet. So
Really?
yeah, um, so it's not a priority for them. So you can go back to the old version and add it. I think it's not a bad thing to add because it helps visually impaired people,
Yeah.
but it doesn't help your SEO on Etsy. It helps your Google SEO, and you're probably not going to rank on Google for a good while anyway. So I wouldn't I wouldn't desperately worry about it too much. It's a small part of the pie, but just go in, put put it into your workflow when you're making a new listing. Just think, oh yeah, that's another thing I have to add, but don't stress about it.
Yeah. Gra- Graphic designer. Starla, could you do a more detailed eRank tutorial? I've got so many, so many. There are literally hundreds on my channel. If you go to my channel and just search eRank in the small search bar that is on my channel, they'll all pop up. I've done live stream walkthroughs, I've done tool walkthroughs, I've done full keyword optimization walkthroughs. I've got a tour of the dashboard and the keyword tool. Whatever you're looking for is likely there. It's probably just pushed back on my channel a bit. And check out this channel. Go through the actual eRank channel, because Pam, she does more specific tools. Want to know how to use this, want to know how to check this, want to know how to understand this. She makes a lot of those smaller digestible videos that make things a little bit easier so you can do smaller chunks at a time.
Yeah, and let us know what you want to see. And I'm afraid it can't be give us an eRank tutorial because eRank is so big because everybody's shops and listings and what they want to do is very different. So there's no way we can sort of show you all of it. You have to say, what is it that you're wanting to work on? And that's for all of us. You shouldn't be looking to work on everything all at once. Say, maybe I'm wanting to learn about my competitors. So then you would say you're focusing in on those kind of tools and you're wanting to learn about that. You want to learn a little bit about writing great titles, so be specific about what it is that you want to do. And then we can both help you. We can both look and see if we need to make some videos on that kind of thing or what we can do.
Yeah. And, if you've got a specific tool that we haven't covered yet, feel free to be specific in your requests of what you'd like to see. In fact, I dare say that it would be better to comment those requests on the eRank channel, because we're trying to grow a library of resources specifically for eRank. And I'm sure that we will someday be out of brilliant ideas, and we're going to rely on you guys to give us those great ideas.
Well, no, because Anthony will just change everything and we'll have to make the videos again. But we do appreciate the ideas because that tells us the things that are most pressing for you all to learn about.
Yeah. Get to Create said, can I use eRank to download a spreadsheet with all of my listing titles and descriptions? I don't think
I
so.
don't think we can do descriptions. No, I can't think of anywhere that is.
Why do you want to download a spreadsheet of those things? That would be my ask. Like what would be the purpose of doing that? I mean, you might have a good purpose. I'm not questioning that there is a purpose. I'm just wondering if there's a reason that I'm missing that maybe you would want to have a spreadsheet of all of that.
Yeah, and that's another thing is that if you can tell us how you're going to use it and we can take that to Anthony and he goes, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea." He's way more likely to work that into a kind of into a tool if it's possible. But yeah, at the minute in time I can't think why, but let us know.
Yeah. Let's see. And somebody had said that on Android, the pages skip up instead of scrolling down, and that support has been made aware. eRank is made for a computer. It wasn't designed to be used on mobile. We've kind of had to like, oh, I call it ghetto rig. We've kind of had to ghetto rig it together to get it to work for mobile, but it's not an app. It's not optimal to show that much data in big charts on a tiny phone screen. So, when possible, I highly recommend trying to use a computer, a laptop, or even a tablet screen, with a larger screen, just because it's gonna save your sanity a bit.
Yeah, but let us know and the team are doing their best. Okay, I got a fright there, but Sean, thank you for subscribing. I didn't know we had those notifications on. But yeah, if you haven't, guys,
Ooh.
you can subscribe to the YouTube channel and make me jump with that silly notification.
Um, Get to create. It also asked, where should I start? Which tab, section, or page in eRank if I sell printable items that I create, like cards and party decor? Well, it depends on what your goal is. Are you wanting to look at competitors? Are you wanting to see trends? Are you wanting to do keyword research? If you're wanting to do keyword research, I would start with keyword tool and I would type in a vague kind of short phrase that, printable party decor, printable cards, um, and just look at that list of recommended keywords to see if there are any gold nuggets that you could use for your tags and titles. If you're wanting to track some competitors, go into our competitor tracking tools. Go on Etsy, find the competitors you want to track, enter them in, and you can keep an eye on them. If you want to see trends, go to the monthly trends report on under the trends tab, and then go into the paper and party supplies section, and you can see the top 100 different top searched items for that category. So it really just depends on your goal.
Yeah, it's such a tricky thing for us to answer. I think what we all need to do is it's a good way to sort of optimize your shop is to sit down and say what's your weakness just now, what's the thing that you need to work on, and decide on that, and then yeah, let us know where we can help you with that. If it's keyword research, if it's competitors, there are actually a whole range of videos on here, but we will be working on other ones. We also, actually, I think this is a good time to show one of the other updates that Anthony's allowed us to show, because I just am seeing really cool ways that we can do some keyword research out of this, if I can remember the right button, that one. Right, so if for those of you that haven't noticed, listings listing helper, our AI tool, is now live. There will be a video on Tuesday in depth about this. I've just scripted
Ooh,
it. um, and I think I'm going to make one for my channel as well on Tuesday. So,
awesome.
Starla, if you, I think you've got something up already, didn't you?
Yes, but it was how to apply for the beta program
Oh, right.
mainly.
Yeah. Yeah. So, beta is over and it's now live. So I'm just gonna now we just have a select few here on the live, so I can let you know all about it. Um, let's pull up one of my examples here. Um, it is okay. It was for paid subscriptions only, but we heard you, and it should be now for everybody. I'm not sure if that change has gone in yet, but free users will get one search a day just to get you the hang of it. There's still a lot you can do with that. Uh, Basic get 10, Pro get 20, and Expert get 100. But there's whole loads you can do with this. So I'm seeing this as a really cool way to start sort of keyword research as well. Because, as I said in the other places, you want to type in something kind of broad like ring or something, but with this, type in a description of what it is you make. And then we have some title ideas brought to us by the AI. We have some description ideas. But where this is cool, the AI has given us some tag ideas, and we've attached that to our fantastic data. So now you can see if the keywords it's given us are any good. And this might just start to give you some ideas if we're making a kind of ring, this was my bronze and opal steampunk engagement ring. So this is a very niche product. Doesn't exist, but this is a very niche product. So it gives you some ideas of some potential keywords here. And then there's a couple of things you can do with this. You can either click on them and it will take you to the keyword tool for whatever that keyword is, or you can click the little star and that will pop it into your keyword lists to save the keyword. So I see that as kind of a new, quick and dirty way of doing keyword research. Um,
Yeah, and while you got screen share up, Michelle had asked, do you have a process you follow for reviewing your keywords to try to improve your listings performance and visibility? Do you currently have anything tracked in the change tracker?
Uh, possibly. I think so. I've just come off holiday, so my results will be terrible. Yeah. Yes, I do. Oh, by the way, here's another thing that I think we're allowed to tell you. You'll see it if you haven't. In your active listings, all listings, our grades are there now. The grades for your listings are there. I can't remember what else I was supposed to tell you. But anyway, so yes, from there I can hit show changes. I doubt. Shall we find one that's actually going to have some views on it?
Yeah, you can hit the track changes button. We recommend starting to track your changes a couple weeks before you make changes. So track the listing. That way you can see what your views, favorites, and sales for that listing look like over the course of a few weeks. And if you're not happy with those results, if you're not getting any views, favorites, or sales, then that might be a point where you change your listings. And you can see the exact changes that you made, the date that you made them, and then you can watch the direct impact of those changes in terms of the views, favorites, and sales. So you can decide for yourself if those keywords worked for you.
Yeah, I've probably killed this by asking it to look for all outlets. I've been tracking this for a while, but what you can see, as Starla says, this takes a snapshot every single day of your listing. And in green, you see positive changes. So I've just come off vacation. I've just opened up my store, so there's nothing there. But you can see the number of views you had, the quantity that's available, favorites, and everything of your listing. You can also see your main thumbnail image. So if you do A/B split testing, this is a good way to see this. You can see your title and your tags. I don't think I've made any changes. I was wanting to see some actual changes. Um, but yeah, well, you can see if there's a negative thing, it tells you, somebody unfavorited my item. But if you've changed your title, the next day you'll see the changed title, and any words you've added will be in green, and any you've taken away will be in red. So you can see when you made your changes, and then you can see your total daily views. My shop was on vacation, so there aren't any, but you'll see your total daily views, and then you can look and see, oh, for the few weeks before the changes, that was averaging about this number of views, and then since I made the changes, it's averaging more or it's averaging less. And then it's really easy to go back and change it back if you messed up a bit.
Awesome. Yeah, that's my favorite tool to kind of see, right away what the impact of your changes are.
Yep.
Okay, so we've got about 15 minutes, so I'll probably try to hustle through so I can get to the rest of the questions. However, Pam, where did you go on vacation?
Just Scotland. I got a suntan in Scotland. um, yeah, I've been sort of 2 weeks. I went away to a place called Dunoon with one of my friends, and then I went to Pitlochry with my mum. It was my mum's 70th birthday, so happy birthday, mum.
Awesome. I threw you that question so I could find an applicable question. It was to distract you.
Oh, I see, right.
A pinch of salt asked, when you're looking at competition shops, can you search their best sellers or the best selling in your niche in eRank? Not just keywords, but actual listings.
I think we've just sort of done a thing, haven't we? I'm I'm just going and checking. I'm just back at this thing, so also I want to pull up a shop that I'm allowed to show. I think we can now, to an extent. Right, I think this should be okay. So this is in competition listings. It's just taking a minute because it's taking a minute. Yes, so we have now added estimated sales in the competitor listings. So, yes, you can. This is data that we've calculated from the data that's publicly available from Etsy. They don't tell us the exact number of sales and stuff, so we've done our own little calculations. So the team reckon this is about 80% accurate. This is my mum's shop, so I can nosy in this. But yes, out of all the data we've got now, we also have the estimated sales. So you can dig into any of your competitors and see what is likely to be their best selling item. That was just added a couple of weeks ago.
Awesome. All right. Imki. Why is Etsy deactivated items that are handmade as non-handmade? It's all over Reddit. Because this year Etsy has, I just did a video on this last Tuesday or Tuesday before last, and oh my God, it blew up. So Etsy is training AI right now. They are wanting to basically create systems that are able to identify products that are not handmade or that violate their policies. But training AI takes time. And right now, the AI, it's learning. It's like a toddler. It doesn't know what it's doing, which is why you get, the notice that it's been deactivated. For example, Evil Squirrel said that they had an item deactivated for drug paraphernalia. Like a lot of them, I'm seeing jewelry getting deactivated for drug paraphernalia. I had a hoodie deactivated. The short answer is that there's nothing that you can do. Continue reaching out to Etsy support if you have an item deactivated because it will likely be reactivated. It's very frustrating. We completely understand. AI doesn't work immediately. AI learns and it gets better as it learns. And Etsy is training its AI, and its AI is making mistakes in order to learn.
And
So,
myself and Starla know this better. We've been expecting this because this happened on YouTube. 2 or
yes.
3 years ago, this exact thing happened on YouTube. And what they were doing was they were flagging videos that they thought would not be suitable for advertisers because there was a big issue. And for the first few months, everybody's videos were being flagged as not suitable for advertisers, which meant we were all losing money. And then the bots learnt, the AI learnt, and over time it's got better and better. And I've not seen that horrible yellow dollar sign in a very long time now. That used to be, you'd go into your videos and it'd be like limited access, limited access. So we've seen it happen, and we knew this was going to happen on Etsy. They are having to clean house. They are having to do better. We all asked them to do better. We said there's terrible stuff on Etsy. It had to be a bot that was going to pull down the listings, and the bot's a rubbish little toddler just now.
Yeah. Yeah. And everybody's saying, I wish that they would, that the bots wouldn't take it down and then humans review it after they deactivate. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Graphic designer had a lot of concerns about videos being SEO videos being outdated after 4 months. So Etsy's algorithm doesn't change that quickly. 4 months is pretty crazy. I wouldn't only look for SEO videos in the last 4 months, but they'd asked, would my eRank videos from last year still be beneficial for today? I actually have a playlist on my channel called Evergreen SEO. I look at that list frequently. Anything that no longer is applicable, I remove it. Um, there's also one called Etsy SEO in 2023. And again, that's another one that I make sure that the content is up to date. And then I go in and I will remove videos from that if for any reason anything is changed. And then I just update the year, yearly. Next year it'll say 2024. Um, but usually anything that's outdated on my channel, it doesn't go into a playlist. And sometimes I even put that it's outdated right in the title.
Yeah. And quite a lot of the videos in this channel are less than 4 months because I've just been doubling down on the videos recently. But there's a kind that Stella's right. There's a kind of myth that the SEO is changing that quickly. There was a very big change in Etsy SEO in 2010. Since then, it's been tweaks. I mean, yes, there is the personalization algorithm, but that doesn't change how you do your SEO. Your SEO is finding good keywords and putting them in your title and your tags. That everyone sort of overcomplicates things a bit, and I totally understand why. And we want to find that tiny little thing that suddenly gets you sales, but in general, find a good keyword, put it in your title and your tags, take an awesome picture, let it run for a few months, see what happens. There's
Yeah.
SEO.
It's an experiment. There is no proven this will make you sales method for SEO. You have to experiment. Sometimes your tests won't work. You'll have to backtrack. You'll have to try new keywords. Sometimes a keyword that was working for a couple months will do really well and bring you a bunch of sales, and then people will stop searching for it. And then you'll have to put new keywords in. It is a constant process. And that's why we're big on not hiring someone else to do your SEO, not, putting keywords in your listings and then never touching them again. You do have to keep an eye on things, and if you rely on somebody else to do it for you, you will forever be paying that person. It would be a full-time job. um, but we try to make the process a little easier. um,
Yeah.
Get to Create had said that about the spreadsheet. I want to have them on my computer and look at them in the spreadsheet and polish them and organize everything. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, we don't have it just now. I I don't know if it's something we're able to do in the future.
Yeah. Evil Scroll said, will eRank ever be a condensed app? We are currently working on an app still, but keep in mind that web development is not the same as app development. So our web developers are trying to learn. There is no release date for that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, and Carol had said I've been going through Starla's noodle box of tutorials. Yeah, my Etsy SEO, it's linked in the bottom of all my YouTube videos, but it's also right on the homepage at handmadealphaacademy.com. Um, that has my top 6 or 7 or 8, I think, videos in the exact order that I recommend for learning how Etsy's algorithm works and a step by step for Etsy SEO. So that might be a good option as well. And it include if you're using a new email address, like a fresh email address, it does come with 30 days of eRank Pro. You just can't apply that to an existing eRank account. It has to be a fresh account. Um, Michelle had said, I'm really struggling with keyword optimization. I know some of my keywords are not working, but figuring out why and how to make changes to improve without is really challenging. Um, I mean, the change tracker tool, again, that's a really great resource. If something, how to know if something's not working? Well, if you're not getting sales and traffic, it's not working.
Yeah.
It's a good indicator.
Yeah, sadly Google Analytics is being less of a thing because that was a really good way that we could help you on eRank.
Mhm.
So if you have your Google Analytics linked up to your Etsy shop, you can connect that up to eRank and we can show you the keywords. But that's probably just for a week, so it's probably not worth doing, unfortunately. But look in your Etsy stats look at what keywords are bringing you traffic. And on your Etsy dashboard, under marketing search analytics, you get a real big list of the keywords that people have searched for. Not many people actually use that data, but I absolutely love it. So that's a way to see. Sort of the way I go about things is you find a keyword, you make your listing, you use the rank checker to see if your listing is ranking for those keywords you'd thought of. That's the first step. Is it ranking? Because a new listing is going to get a boost in search, so that's the time it's likely to be ranking the highest. And then if it drops off and it gets no views or anything, then you know, okay, that's kind of not really working. If it does really well, then it's going to start to increase in the ranking. So after a few months, look and see, is your listing still ranking for those keywords? Are those keywords bringing you views? If it's not ranking, you need to make a better listing, maybe better photography or something. If it is ranking and it's not getting views, you maybe need a better keyword that people are searching for. It's trial and error.
Yep. Stephanie had said, I don't understand how to use long tail keywords and tags with 20 characters. You split them in the way that makes the most sense because you'll still broad match for them, even if those words aren't touching each other. You'll still make a broad match. So just cut them in a way that makes the most sense. I always use skeleton key necklace as an example, which I would cut at skeleton key as one tag and then necklace as the other, because skeleton and key necklace doesn't make sense because I'm not selling a skeleton. So skeleton key and necklace would be the, place to cut where it would make the most sense. So just, look at those long tail keywords and decide where the best place to break them apart, because either way you will broad match for them, even if they're not touching.
Exactly. We do have a video in here of how to write tags as well.
Awesome. Let's see. Um, let's see. Are there any updates for the listing helper? I mean, there's been a couple. We've got the ability to copy your title and tags, and the history now shows up. But aside from that, I don't think so.
Yeah, go play with it, everybody. But with the listing helper, I'm seeing a lot of talk in the chat, which is quite right. Remember, this is connected to an AI. AIs seem amazing, these large language models, but they're like the bots that Etsy are using in that they're the worst they're ever going to be so far. They're still really new. So always double check it. Don't just believe what the AI is saying, and double check it with our data. They're great fun, but they're not quite as clever as we think they are. I've spent hours chatting to the AI.
Yeah.
When the robot revolution happens, I'm in trouble for how I've been chatting to this AI.
Let's see. Oh, this would be a good one to acknowledge. If we have some listings with bad grades, does that affect traffic or the algorithm? So our grade system, we've actually taken it away multiple times and put it back because people have gotten upset. Grades are not telling you that your SEO is good. It is not telling you that you're getting traffic. It is not affecting your traffic. It has nothing to do with the algorithm. The grade system is a checklist that tells you how well you're following Etsy's best practices. However, we often have sellers who will go in, they've already got best selling products, but they want to tweak their listing because they see they have a bad grade. Don't do that. The grades are just telling you if you're following Etsy's best practices, nothing more. And sometimes your best listings, well, now we've kind of updated it for so that if your listing is selling, your grade reflects the sales. But your listings don't have to follow Etsy's best practices to do good. I prefer to use grades when looking at listings that aren't selling, or looking at listings that you're just now listing to see things that you might have missed or things that you could improve on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think most of us, when you're experienced in writing Etsy listings, you should be able to get a decent grade pretty easily because you know what to do. And if you suddenly see a low grade, it's like, oh, did I forget? Or the dumb things like, did I put my tags in the material section again by mistake? It's that kind of thing. For those of you who's learning, it is just literally to say, are you following the rules for structuring a listing? But it doesn't mean that you've picked good keywords. It doesn't mean that your photos are good. It just look out for the D's and E's. They're kind of low hanging fruit, and anything that's irrelevant for you, that when you look at it, just think, oh, here's a warning on something. Is that important for my listing? I've thought about it. It's not important for my listing. Don't worry about it. Etsy isn't using our grades. That's just a thing that we've developed at eRank to just help you spot low hanging fruit.
Absolutely. Little quick wins.
Yeah.
Um, so we are at 4:02. However, there was one more question I wanted to acknowledge just because I'm hearing a lot about it, and I'm sure Pam is. So I do apologize to everybody who wasn't able to make it. I will be streaming tomorrow on my channel at noon. And we will be here every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So feel free to save your comments for the next stream or post them in the eRank group link down below. If you really need your question answered right away. But I wanted to acknowledge Jennifer's comment where she said, do you guys have any info about the new related searches within our listings? So during the summer, every year, before the holidays, Etsy experiments and they test new things and they try new things. And some of their experiments stick. In my experience, most of them don't. But we see them doing all kinds of weird things. And by the time I actually started looking more into it, that related searches was already gone. It was gone yesterday for me. I didn't see it. It's likely nothing to freak out about. Reddit likes to freak out about everything. Reddit likes to make a fuss about everything. If you notice weird things on Etsy over the next few days, I know that like for a while people were seeing all of their photos as squares. That happened again a few weeks ago. And that's something that Etsy's experimented with in the past. But the short answer is don't freak out and don't let other people freaking out influence your level of freak out because this is just what Etsy does during the summer. It's likely something that, if they notice it working, if it helps, sellers, then it'll stick. But I don't see it anymore, which likely means that enough sellers probably got upset at them that they might have taken it away.
Yeah, I never saw it. I was looking for it. The, the other thing is, if any of these do stick, there's a chance this will stick because I think this is kind of borrowed from Amazon or something. Somebody said, I didn't see. But if these things do stick, rather than complaining about them, see how we can use them to our benefit. And what I see, something that's showing related searches, it tells me, first of all, does Etsy understand what my listing is all about? Are they relevant to my listing? If they are, has Etsy just given me some extra new free keywords? And when I go to these related searches, are my listings ranking at the top of these related searches as well? And if they're not, get some listings up there. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. If someone's scrolled all the way to the end of your 10 pictures and they're still not sure they want to buy and they're clicking onto something else, they were probably not all that sure. But if they click to another related search and they see another one of your listings there, then there's a chance they might click on that and you might get the sale where they were going to go back to the search and maybe not see your other listing. So they're not always bad things. You use them to your benefit.
Absolutely. All right, guys. It is 4:05. Thanks so much for hanging out. Oh, apologies for not being able to get to everybody, but that's a good sign because that means that there's been a lot of you here, and hopefully you'll tune in for the future eRank live streams. But thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you next week.